And also, Cully, so it might be a little bit more time than I thought for your shirt. It might be a week or so. I just want to make sure I communicate that with you.
Okay.
I haven't had to go to the post office up to this point, so it didn't even occur to me that, you know, I just need to find out what they're doing and whatnot, so.
Yeah, you want to be sitting here?
Okay. All right, good.
We can do it by the bonfire. The class is at 9 in the morning. I'll be working in school. I'm probably not be in school. I'll probably already be done.
I was just practicing my, I want to call it an accordion. I don't ever remember what it's called right now. How can I forget?
The unbox?
Huh?
The unbox?
Yeah. Why can I not think of?
But is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. I mean, I've been researching them for like 2 years. I finally got one for Christmas, and right now the word that it's called totally left my brain. So it's that thing in the corner though. And I love it. It's basically like an organ accordion. It has a little pump in the back. It has bellows. So the own box. I like that. That's much easier to remember. Okay, ready?
Yes.
Because we're gonna use the arms a lot. So I wanna make sure that we warm that up completely. Hold on, change this view here. So I can see you guys.
This is it.
And we're just gonna focus on the breath with the movement, of course. For this alignment class, we are gonna use a couple of props. We are gonna focus on the arms while we're doing our upward bow today to keep our elbows in, because that's really important for that posture to protect the shoulder joints. But to begin, we're just gonna align the breath with the simple movements that we're doing to warm up the shoulders, okay? So you can sit in easy pose, or I'll invite you to sit in Thunderbolt, which is Vajrasana. You can sit on a block. If you know that your feet will start to fall asleep, be sure that the block is, you know, long-wise to be able to support the pelvis. So that's an option. Okay. So Thunderbolt. If your feet start to fall asleep, that's actually, it's okay. Like, it will be okay as long as you don't have any injuries in your feet. If we're blocking off the flow of one part of our body, then we're just making the flow happen extra on the other part of our body. So it's okay. All right. So go ahead and find your breath. Take a couple of deep breaths. We're just gonna add some shoulder shrugs here. So bring the shoulders up to the ears, roll them back and down. And then from back, roll them up and forward with your breath. Inhale up, exhale down. A couple more times like that. And then we're going to take our hands together, the tops of the hands, so your fingers will be pointing down. And we're just going to kind of roll forward. We're just warming up the wrists. And then we're going to go in the other direction. Good. Now hold your hand out in front of you, and we're going to bend the fingers back. Keep the arms straight so you can feel, especially if you guys have been on the computer, which I'm pretty sure most of all three of you have. And to work. So you should feel this in your forearm, especially if you're right-handed. And then go ahead and do the other side. And then we're going to bend the fingers towards the wrists. So fingers are going to point down on the right hand. And we're just going to gently bring the fingers towards the forearm. Staying with your breath here. Other side, left fingers down. Pull them back. And then come to prayer hands. Just keep them by your chest here. Try to keep the palms together and then start to point the fingers down. And then we'll do it the other way. Pressing the palms together. Good. Come back to center, interlace the fingers. Actually, yeah, we're gonna interlace the fingers and push the palms up to the ceiling. Exhale, lean to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale, lean to the left. Center, coming down with goddess arms here, so let go of the fingers, open up the chest. Inhale, back. Palms together. Exhale, down. You know, if we're doing this much warm up with the arms, some weight. We're gonna go through this one more time.
Can you just stay like this, like for Tai Chi?
Yeah, exactly. When I was first learning a new way of yoga, and they started their warm up with sun salutations, I was like, how dare they do this? My shoulders are not even warmed up yet. All right, fingertips on the shoulders, but it really does is just a quicker way of warming up the body. We're gonna do circles with our elbows. So going forward first, just do like 5 circles. And then go in the other direction. Good. And then we're gonna come into a simple twist here. So arms up. As you exhale, bring your left fingertips behind you, and then the right hand is gonna be pressing on the outside of the left knee. So you could do this whether you're sitting in easy pose or thunderbolt. You can be looking over the left shoulder, but take a breath here and inhale. And then exhale, twist. Take one more breath. Inhale, arms are coming back up. Exhale, same thing on the other side. Stay with your breath. Good. Come back to center. And we're gonna go to hands and knees here. Do we feel warmed up in the shoulders?
Yes.
Good. Right in the, if we're coming right into dolphin pose.
Oh my gosh.
All right, so we're gonna do just a little flow here. Dolphin, plank, and of course, as hard as you work, you get to equally rest. So interlace the fingers, curl the toes under, press the floor away from you with your forearms, and just bring the hip sockets up to the ceiling. We're gonna take 3 breaths here, but try to walk your toes as close to your arms as possible, and then maybe settle the heels. Good. Now straighten the legs, come into forearm plank. 3 breaths here. Looking in front of the hands. Navel to spine, heels are pushing back. And then go ahead and drop to knees, come into child's pose. Knees are spread apart, toes are together. Reach the arms forward. Take this as an opportunity to stretch the shoulders as well. 3 breaths here, and then we're coming back into dolphin. So interlace the fingers, get your arms ready. Dolphin pose. 1, 2, 3. Full breath here. Exhale, come down to plank. Good, shoulders away from the ears. Nice long extension through the crown of the head. 2, 3. Full breath here. Go ahead and come down to your knees, back in a child's pose. Take 3 breaths. And think to yourself, slow burn. And strong. Once you're done with that 3rd breath, we're gonna do this for 1 more round. So interlace the fingers, come up into dolphin, walk the toes as close as you can to the face. Keep lifting the sitting bones up towards the ceiling. Breaths here, 1, 2, lift out of the shoulders. 3, full breath. And then on the exhale, come down to plank. Navel to spine, nice long straight body. 2, 'Good, come to your knees for child's pose. If you want to rest your arms, you can grab your heels or stretch them out, stretch the arms out. 3 breaths. Count them on your own, and then we're going to meet in regular downward facing dog. Good, so when you're ready, go ahead and press the palms into the mat. Come to hands and knees, curl the toes under, hips up and back, downward facing dog. Press the roots of the fingers into the mat. Walk the feet, pedal the feet. Nice straight arms, you're pushing the floor away from you. Ears are lined up with the inner arms. Good. And then we're gonna go ahead and walk the feet forward. So coming to Tadasana, just walk, walk, walk. Press all 4 corners of both feet into the mat, slightly bend the knees. Inhale, arms all the way up. Exhale, hands in front of the heart. Good, we're gonna do a couple of modified sun salutations here. So inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, look up, still taking it slow, staying with your breath. Exhale, come to plank. We're gonna take 3 breaths here. So be sure your wrist creases are parallel to the front of your mat and shoulders are directly over the wrists. 1 more breath before we chaturanga down. On the exhale, shift the toes, shift the body forward. Elbows point straight back, come all the way down to the ground. Uncurl the toes, bring your hands to the lower ribs, and take this as an opportunity to lift up in a cobra. Strong legs in the back, and feel the abdominal muscles lengthening. Look up. As you exhale, curl the toes under, downward facing dog for 5 breaths. 1, 2, deep, deep breaths. 3, 4, 5. Inhale, look up, get to the front of your mat. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms all the way up. Exhale, hands in front of the heart. Back to Tadasana. Again, inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, look up. Exhale, step back to plank. We're coming into side plank here. So right hand in the middle. Stack the feet. Left fingertips up to the ceiling, maybe. This is full expression of the pose. You can also come down on your right knee or put the left foot on top over the right side of the mat. Take 2 more breaths here. 1, 2. Good, left fingertips down. Drop to your knees, come back into child's pose for 3 breaths. Grab your heels or keep the arms extended. And while you're here, you can actually bend the wrists a little bit. Even while your head is down, you can put the tops of the hand on the mat just to give them a stretch. The super important thing about what we're doing tonight with the planks and things like that, especially side plank that's very weight bearing, is the wrist creases lining up at the front of your mat and then the shoulder being either right on top of or behind the wrist. Go ahead and press the palms into the mat, sitting yourself up, come back to hands and knees. Curl the toes under, downward facing dog. 5 breaths here. Go ahead and count them on your own. After your 5th breath, inhale, look at the front of your mat and either step or hop forward. Exhale, fold. Press the feet, inhale, arms all the way up. Exhale, hands in front of the heart. Don't you think I forgot the other side? Here we go. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, look up. Exhale, step back to plank. Left hand to the center of the mat. Be sure that everything is set up the way it should be, and then flip to your side, keep the hips high, right fingertips up to the ceiling. Take 3 breaths here. Good. Excellent. 1 more. Press the roots of the finger. Exhale, bring that right hand down. Go back into child's pose. Good. And again, if you need to stretch the other wrist, go ahead and do that. We're going to walk the hands to the left and the right while we're here. So when you're ready, you can go ahead and sit up and begin to walk the hands to the right as far as you can. Soften towards the floor. Walk the hands here, and then all the way to the left as far as you can. Soften towards the floor. And then go ahead back to center. Come to hands and knees. Curl the toes under. Inhale, downward facing dog. Walk the feet to the front of the mat. And then press the feet. Use this as an opportunity to strengthen the back. So bend the knees a little bit so you have a really, really flat back. Good. And then inhale all the way up. So it's like you're sticking your bum out. Exhale, hands in front of the heart. Good, so meet me at Tadasana on the front of your mat. We're gonna do warrior one with some goddess arms here. I'll start on this side. So we'll start by bringing our right foot back. Find your center line, heel to heel. That should be as close as your center line is for your feet. Press the back edge, outer edge of the back foot into the mat. And as you're pressing that, let that help the front leg go deep into the bend, into the knee bend. Hips are facing the front of the mat. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, open up to goddess arms. Same thing we did in the beginning. Inhale up. Exhale down. Again, inhale up. Exhale, open. One more time, inhale up. Exhale down. Good. We're gonna lift the back heel and come into crescent pose. Okay? So lift the back heel. This is actually a very terrible rug to have for not sliding. That's not a good pose for that. All right. So the back heel is up. We're in crescent pose. And we're gonna do our prayer twist or Anjali twist in here. Arms up. Palms together. As you exhale, right arm comes to the outside of the left knee. Press that back heel down towards the ground. So that back leg is strong and straight. Good. And you can also just have a straight arm on the outside of the leg if that's more helpful. Good, take one more breath here. Go ahead and release, come back to center. Tadasana. All right, we're gonna go right into the other leg. So left leg back, first starting in warrior one, so the back heel is down. Strong back leg, bend into that front knee. So the knee is directly over the ankle. Toes are pointing straight. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, open. Inhale, up. Exhale, down. Inhale, up. Exhale, open. Good, raise that back heel. And then we'll just go inhale, up. And exhale, twist. Now that we know what we're coming into, left elbow to the outside of the knee. You can also just have the arms straight if that'll help you get into the twist. Take 3 breaths here. Good, you can do it, you got it. One more. Exhale, go ahead and come back up. Come back to Tadasana. Ooh, and then shake your legs out a little bit. That you have nearby. We're gonna do our Urdhva Hastasana, which is arms facing up, but we're gonna do it with our block today, just to make it a little extra special. So remember, we've used this in the past in our alignment class to help us remember what it's like to have the shoulders protracted, which means injury, retracted, which means grounding the shoulders. This is what we want. This is how we're gonna get mobility in the shoulders. So once you're here and your arms are straight out in front of you, just kind of play with that. Protract, retract. And once you have them retracted back into the shoulder sockets, I don't want you to move them. So keep them exactly where they are and slowly rotate the arms up. You're gonna have to maybe stop and sink them even further back. Good. We're gonna keep them here for just a breath. Do you guys feel that though? Bring it back. We're gonna do it one more time. So be sure you reach back, shoulders back, and then lift it up. Good. And now we're coming into chair pose. So go ahead and start to sit back. Keep the arms as extended as you can. Look on the floor, find your focus point, use your breath to help you. Gather in the lower belly, in and up. Find your breath. Keep those arms up, nice and straight. And then exhale, fold. As you fold, keep your hands on your block, palms on the block, even if you can touch the floor. Just put your palms on the block and lengthen the spine. Just take a couple of breaths here. Maybe play with straightening the legs. You can separate the feet a little bit. And then after you lengthen one more time, fold forward. Just fold yourself in half. Drop the head completely. Good. So we're gonna go into chair one more time with our block. And then from now on, when we do chair pose without the block, you guys are gonna be like, this is so easy, I love it. So go ahead and grab your block, bring your feet back together, bend your knees, shift the weight to the back of the body, and go ahead and keep the shoulders retracted. Good, nice straight arms. So your arms are internally rotated here. So turn your elbows in, bring them up, good. If your toes lift a little bit, totally fine. It just means that your weight is where it should be in the back of the body. Take one more breath here. See if you can sink a little bit lower. Good. Next exhalation, fold. Put your palms on your block, lengthen through the crown of the head. And then exhale, hinge forward. So the legs are gonna feel really strong, and then your upper body is almost just like flowing out of the hips. You can separate the feet. Maybe lengthen one more time and then just completely fold in half. Good. Because your hamstrings should be a little warmed up by now, or getting there. Go ahead and move the block off to the side. We're gonna do Padahastasana. So step on top of your hands. Bring your toes all the way up to the wrist creases. Arms are gonna be straight. That doesn't mean your knees have to be straight. Shift your weight forward. Drop the head. Take a couple of breaths here. Take one more breath. Inhale, look up. Exhale, remove the hands. Bring your hands up to your waist. And then inhale, lift all the way up. Good. Go ahead and stand sideways on your mat. If you're at the front of your mat, we're gonna come into a wide leg forward bend here. We're just going down one time. Be sure your toes are pointing straight forward. And just a little trick here that I want you to keep in the back of your head. The trick to folding forward in any forward fold, but it's more accessible in wide legs, is internally rotating those femur heads and at the same time engaging the quadriceps. Try it as you fold forward today, okay? So inhale, lengthen first. Engage the quadriceps. Lift the sitting bones, which will activate that internal rotation and start to hinge forward. Bring your fingertips to the floor, and we're gonna redo it right here. So inhale, engage the quadriceps again. Rip the mat apart with your feet. That'll internally rotate the leg bones. See if you can go down a little bit further. Keep the shoulder blades drawn towards each other and shoulders away from the ears. And then even try it one more time because it just keeps creating space. It just unjams the sacrum and gets it out of the way. Engage the quadriceps, rip the mat apart with your feet, and hinge from the waist. Good. We're just taking one more breath here. Inhale, look up. Exhale, bring the hands to the waist. Inhale, lift all the way up. Good. Bring the right, actually grab your block before we do this. We're gonna go into warrior two, so don't come completely out of the legs, but just bring the block by the right foot for now. We're gonna start by bringing from the hip socket, turning the right toes out 90 degrees. Back toes or back foot will be parallel to the back of the mat. You might even wanna widen your stance a little bit. So coming into warrior two from here, go ahead and press on the left outer hip. Bend into the front knee. Extend the arms in the front and the back. And just kind of, if you're shifted forward, come back to the center. Draw the inner edges of the shoulder blades together down towards the tailbone. And then gaze off that front right or middle finger, front right hand. We're gonna take 2 more breaths here. And on the next exhalation, get ready for Ardha Chandrasana or half moon pose. Keep the front leg bent like the whole time. Your block is gonna be in front of you, pretty good amount in front of you. Take your top arm, put the top of the hand on the lower back. Just bring the arm behind you. That's how you're gonna keep it just for now. Start to walk that back foot forward. And then lift the back leg. This is an external rotation of the back leg. Foot is flexed.
What do we do? Our hips to the floor are rotated open.
They're gonna be open off the left side of the mat.
Okay.
Yep, so hips will be open. So toes will, the foot will be exactly how it was on the floor.
Okay.
But in the air. And then if you feel good and balanced here, you can bring the left fingertips up, but you don't have to. So the left side of the body is open. Good. Take one more breath here. We're actually going to come back into warrior two legs from here. So very softly and gently, like a spring, that back foot. Yeah, good. Walk the right toes in, bring the left toes out, bring your block with you to the left side. All right. Be sure your foundation is good with your feet. We're lined up heel to heel. Take that right hand, press the back leg. This is really the best way to get into warrior two. It keeps our knee from caving in. The knee should be lined up over the second and third toe. Don't let it collapse. If it's collapsed, bring it back, engage the quadriceps, and make the knee go directly over the ankle. Good. Extend arms out in the front and back. So we're opened off the right side of the mat now. We'll take 2 more breaths here. Shoulders away from the ears. And mind you, you can use a wall or something coming into half moon. Doesn't have to be the block. And if you don't need the block, you can bring that hand all the way down to the ground. So start to prepare, shift forward. Bring your left hand down to the block or the floor. The block will be at least a good 6 inches to a foot in front of your toes. It goes pretty far forward, yep. And then just lift that back leg up. Everything is facing off the left side of the mat. I'm sorry, the right side of the mat. Good. And then the knee. Take one more breath here. Kate, see if you can go down to the floor. You too, Alexis. And then this time we're gonna bring both feet together. So really bend the front knee, yep. And then flatten the back and safely come back to your standing position. That was amazing. Isn't it funny how we project our things onto other people? That pose is so hard for me. Go ahead and come back to Tadasana. It's always been such a difficult pose for me, and I see students do it with ease, and I'm like, yeah, they really got this.
Yeah, it's funny.
I love it. All right, so we're gonna come back to the front of our mat, bring it back down to the floor. So Tadasana. First, let's just go ahead and inhale, arms up. Grab the left wrist, lean to the right. Inhale back to center, grab the right wrist, lean to the left. Good. Exhale, arms down. Do the goddess arms open again. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale, open up. This time we're gonna go up, then down. So inhale up. Exhale, go all the way down to the mat, fold in half. Inhale, look up. Exhale, step or jump back. Chaturanga here. All right. And then take a rest on your belly. We're gonna do a version of Cobra. So the feet are gonna stay on the floor. You can put your arms along the sides of the body for just a minute. We're gonna hover on the floor, okay? So as we're pressing the tops of the feet and the pubic bone into the mat, we're gonna try to lengthen the spine up, and we're gonna try to just hover our hands over the floor. We're gonna go up, down, up, hover for 3 breaths, okay? So looking down the whole time. Uncurl the toes, separate the feet hip width apart. Engage the legs. Back of the body, front of the body. You're gonna look up off the mat. So inhale, lift, hover the hands. Exhale, down. Inhale, up. Exhale, down. And then inhale, up. Hover. 1, 2. Lift the shoulders back. 3, come down. You can leave the hands where they are and rest on your right cheek. We're gonna do the same thing, but arms are gonna be out to the sides. Like T-arms. Ready? Bring your forehead back to the mat. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up and hover. 1, 2, 3. Go ahead and rest on the left cheek. And I don't know about you, but once I've done Cobra a couple times, I really just want to lift my legs. So we're going to go into Locust from here. So go ahead and put the arms behind you. Fingers are pointing towards your feet. We're going to give it our all here as we take a breath and then exhale and lift. Lift the legs, lift the chest and head. Toes are pointing straight back. Fingers are pointing straight back. Everything is pointing straight back. Really engaging the back of the legs. Take 1 more breath. And release. I want you to take 2 or 3 breaths here and then come back into child's pose. Bring your awareness to the lower back muscles. Make sure you're completely unraveling the lower back muscles around the spine, because your back just did a whole lot of work there. On your next exhalation, come to hands and knees. Cross at the ankles and bring yourself to a seated position. So Upavista Konasana, legs are separated, feet are separated. Feet are flexed, knees are pressing towards the floor. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, just walk the hands forward, and if you feel like you can grab a hold of the outside of the feet, go ahead and do that. Just keep the shoulders away from the ears. Even if you can grab the ankles here to help lift the chest, that works too. And if you're feeling like this is too much for the back, just stay here. Take one more breath. And eventually, when we have two straps, we could take a strap on each foot here, and we can use that to make our arms longer. Inhale, come up, bring the legs together. We're gonna do our forward fold here, Paschimottanasana, stretching the west side of the body, which is the back of the body. And then the reverse plank is stretching the east side of the body, of course. All right, so big toes together. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, reach far forward as far as you can, and wherever your hands lay, that's where your stretch is today. And then drop the head. Not to bend not to bend the neck forward or stretch the neck forward. But try the engagement in the lower belly, in and up. See if that helps you exhale forward a little bit more. Keep the shoulders away from the ears. Keep the legs engaged. The more you press your legs into the floor, the more your upper body can release. Take one more breath here. And go ahead and lift on your next inhale. And we're gonna release, go down to our backs. We're going into full upward bow tonight, ladies. It's happening. It does. Well, if you get
in my mind,
it's okay. Yes, think about that. Really, what was so even if you can't go up into the full posture, the full expression, first of all, number one, you're still a good person and you're still awesome. Number two, tell yourself that you can do it. Sometimes that helps. Whatever the shift that needs to happen, that you can't do it, just try it. And you get where you get tonight, because you can do it. So if you want, Coley had talked about how it's difficult to keep the elbows together, because this is what we want. This is what eventually we want to keep the elbows together and the arms straight over the head. Our elbows have a tendency to go like this, and so do our knees. So we use a strap to try to keep that together. And in this Align class is the perfect time to practice that. If you want, you do not have to. You can just kind of stay aware of it. So if you're ready, you are going to use the strap. It's going to go around the upper arms. And then you'll go ahead and lie down on your back. Fingertips under the shoulders, all the way under the shoulders. And then your feet can be a little bit wider than the hips. Just for now, try it, because we're working on the arms more. And then when you're ready, go ahead and press the hands, press the feet, and lift. Try to take 3 breaths. Even 5. 5 would be great. Even if you're a centimeter off the ground. And then tuck the chin. Bring the shoulder blades down first and carefully. Nice job, ladies. And then release the legs and take a moment. Did that help, Coley? We're gonna do it one more time. And if you do get up into it, once you're up there, I want you to walk your hands closer to your feet. Just try it. Yeah, do it. So take a breather. When you're ready, you go up whenever you're ready. You're a good person. You can do this. Yes. You did it, Miss Kate.
Aversion.
You did it. Where are you finding it the most difficult?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
To get my giant head off the floor.
Head, really?
Yeah, I have a giant head. I have this big brain.
You and Gary are opposites. I always forget.
He has that little tiny pea.
Go ahead and was it hurting your arm, Alexis? I'm gonna unmute you for a second.
Sorry, are you unmuted?
Mm-hmm.
It's just my arms are a little sore.
Okay, just from.
That's all. No, it's just been on them.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's normal. But I'm scared to like lift my foot up or even move my hands.
It's scary.
Just because it's not your normal position.
I know.
You're like, am I gonna go too far on one side or the other?
Yes. And as adults, it's kind of scary to be upside down because really, when do we practice that? I mean, as kids, we kind of do it, but it's not our normal practice as big people, you know? So.
Well, I brought it home one time after I first learned it. I was like, oh my God, I could do it. And my son was like, oh my God, it's just like a back bend. That's so easy. And he's like, da-da-da. I was like, go away. Exactly.
And you push a couple of you out, you know? So,
Exactly. I'm like, but he could barely hold his own weight up on his arms because he's got little string bean arms. So.
yeah. All right. I want you guys to take a couple, to go down on your backs and just, like after upward bow, you just want to rest for a couple minutes. You can bring your knees up to the chest. And we are going to finish out our night on our backs anyhow. But that was really great. I mean, the fact that you're brave enough to show up on your mat, number one. Number two, to try something like that. I mean, that was great. And it was fun too, Emma, wasn't it?
Sure.
All right, so we're gonna do our Supta Padangusthasana. So if you want to use your strap, you can. Otherwise, grab your big toe with your 2 fingers. You're gonna put the strap around the ball of your foot. Left hand is gonna go on top of the left thigh. Your right arm is gonna grab the strap and it's gonna be straight. So bring that leg straight up the center line of the body. Foot is flexed. I'm gonna take a couple of breaths here. I always like to kind of notice where my knees are lined up with my ankles and my toes and just kind of get everything stacked on top of each other. Left toes are pointing straight up. Glue the left hip to the floor and start to bring the right leg out to the side. Pelvis barely moves. If it starts to lift too much, then bring it back. Bring the leg back. And maybe loosen up on the strap a little bit to see where your strength is in your inner leg. And then inhale, bring the leg back to center. Switch your hands. So left hand grabs the strap, right arm out to the side. Check the left leg to make sure it's nice and strong, and bring the right leg over the center line. Shoulders are relaxed towards the mat. Bring it back to center. Grab a strap in each hand. Get your deep abdominals ready. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, lift the chest, the head, elbows left to right, head or chin to shin here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Relax the head and shoulders, let the leg float down to the floor. Get ready for the other side. So strap around the left leg. Bring it straight up the center line. Be sure your right toes are pointing straight up. So as if we are standing on the ground. So find the Tadasana in this posture. How would your feet be in Tadasana? If you're holding the strap, it's both straps with left hand and your arm is straight. Right hand is going to be on top of the thigh. Good. Coley, are you able to pull your leg a little bit closer to you?
Yep.
Okay. We're going to go ahead and glue that right hip down, and then take the left leg out to the side. Nice and slow, controlled. And then use the strength of the leg to bring it back to center. Good. Switch hands for the strap. Bring it over the center line. Left arm is out to the side. And the right toes are still Tadasana leg. Straight, toes are straight up. That way we can hit the outside of the leg. The tensor fasciae latae, the TSL, which goes into the IT band, all connected to the hip. And then bring it back to center, grab a strap in the left and the right hand, one in each hand. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, chin to shin. So raise up a little higher. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go ahead and release. Shoulders to the ground. Float the leg down. Good. You guys look like you've had enough. Go ahead and hug the knees one last time. If you feel like you need a twist here, go ahead and drop the knees to the right and then drop them to the left. Just take this last minute or so to do what your body's asking for. And then we meet in Shavasana. So once you're ready for that, you'll go ahead and lie down. Turn the lights off, get the socks on. Turn on some Barry White. He would have a very relaxing Shavasana voice though.
Yes.
Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, separate the lips and just feel every muscle in the body let go. And then on the next breath, same thing, but let go at an even deeper level. And then the last exhalation. Feel the bones and the muscles separating away from each other. The muscles spreading out on the mat. And just feeling as though the whole body is going to sink right into the floor. Take this time to do a body scan from head to toe. Just looking for any changes in the body, anywhere that still feels tight or uneven. What feels better? What feels more spacious? And spend the next few moments returning to the breath and finding that rhythm. The up and the down, the belly and the chest. As you allow the hard work you've just done to absorb into the bones, into the cells, into the tissues of your body. Allow your inhalations to begin to deepen. Gently wiggle the fingers and the toes, the wrists and the ankles. And when you feel motivated to do so, bend the knees one at a time. Rolling onto your right side when you're ready, using your arm as a pillow. And then finding the breath. After another moment or two, carefully press yourself up into any seated position that's comfortable for you. Bringing your hands together in front of your heart. Thank you for letting me guide you this evening. The teacher in me honors and appreciates the teacher in you. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you so much, you guys.
Thank you.
You did such an incredible job. Thank you for your willingness. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.